Hey Jay, sorry, I was actually communicating with hopefully a special guest for today, so I wasn't actually asleep. I was just trying to send the link for him to join us after a while. I get realized after I'd done all that I was probably not paying attention. But how are you this morning? Good to see you. In fact, are you new to our Saturday morning chat? If you are, then welcome. Thanks for coming. What made you think Dale Murphy? Not a name I've heard lately, but certainly one I know. Good morning, Carol. How's my favorite car key? Hey, Joy. Good to see you too. Welcome. I'm doing pretty good this morning. If you've seen me around lately, you know I've been doing some rehab and working on some physical problems. I had back surgery, but my knees are hurting a little bit today, but otherwise they're doing good. Well, when you think Braves baseball, it's good to think Dale Murphy. I mean, that's certainly an iconic player for the Braves. I was a big Braves fan back in those days. I still am. I just don't get to watch it as much, and uh, I haven't been to a game in years. My parents used to go to games when they were able. They'd go several games a summer. They'd drive to Atlanta and hang and go to ball games. And my dad and my mom too, but my dad was a huge baseball fan. He played semi-pro baseball in the probably late 40s, early 50s. Maybe after Korea, he was involved in the Korea conflict, but he loved baseball. Absolutely, Jay. It absolutely is. It ruins your whole life. That's a fact. Well, that's good to know, Carol. Are you swimming lessons this morning, or have they ended, or are you in that process? Oh, good. Well, hopefully we'll see you when you get back home then. Good morning, Amy at AJC Magic TV. Good to see you here this morning. Hopefully everybody's got a cup of their favorite beverage, be it coffee or Pepsi or Coke or tea or water. Yeah, we watched a lot of baseball when I was growing up. Oh, Jay, is it? Do you prefer Jay, or would you prefer Jason Udo, or what would you prefer to be called? Well, a friend of mine used to always tell me he'd been in the Navy, and it was afternoon somewhere, and he'd probably been there. So that was his theory on whether it was too early. Weather here is kind of cloudy and cool. It's warmed up a little bit from yesterday. It was in the 30s again yesterday morning, Amy, and today it's I think in the 40s. But not sure how warm it's going to get because it's overcast. But I think they're calling for a little bit of rain. How about where you're at, Amy? How's the weather there? I'm not sure where that there is. I'm in Tennessee, East Tennessee. No, Jay, I don't mind. This is known as the Whiskey Rebellion flag from the post-revolution era, the early United States. One of the ways they thought they could make up for the expenditures of the war was to start charging tax on whiskey, which is we all pay tax on that stuff now. But at that time, it seemed like the tax was a little bit unfair if you were a small brewer or distiller. The bigger companies, you all paid about the same rate, which made it kind of hard on the 1790-ish, maybe late 80s. So they in Pennsylvania, a group of whiskey makers basically rebelled or tried to rebel. George Washington actually went over there, sent troops in, and they kind of broke it up. I don't think it turned bloodshed, but this is supposed to be one of the few, or maybe the only, known remaining flag left over from the Whiskey Rebellion. But they had flags, and this one is actually on. This is obviously a copy. It's not the real thing, but there is an actual flag mounted over a bar somewhere in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the town, but it's mounted up behind the bar, and they've made these copies from that. So I like a bit of whiskey from time to time, so I just thought that'd be an appropriate flag to have once in a while. I have a pirate flag back there too, and I have a coffee flag. It's this one actually, I put this one up this morning because I'm trying out a new background rack for my studio, if you want to call it that. Oh, Amy, you must be in Pennsylvania then, right? Am I correct? Yeah, let me turn this down. You guys probably heard that something come over my phone there. Actually, no, Jay. That was the rebellion actually within the ranks of the army right after the war. A little bit different. This was civilians primarily who rose up because of the whiskey tax, and I've read about that. The tax was probably unfair to smaller distillers, but yeah, that the one you're talking about is when the officers in the army actually started a mutiny because they weren't getting paid after the war was over. But other than that, you're correct. That's when he said he lost his eyesight. He'd given it to the country, serving his country. Which I guess when you consider that he was supposed to be at that time the end all be all for the U.S. Army, was sort of showing a vulnerability that he probably didn't show most of the time. So that was kind of a big deal. Oh wow, Amy! I didn't realize you were also in Pennsylvania or in Pittsburgh. There's a bunch of you folks from up that way. Well, isn't that I know Pennsylvania in general, but I know several people that are from around Pittsburgh, I think. Yeah. Sometimes whiskey can do that for you. Where I grew up, if they ran it through a radiator, if they ran the homemade whiskey through a radiator, you could lose your eyesight permanently. You always had to be careful who you bought from. Good morning, Triple P. How are you, sir? Yeah, well, I was just telling Jason Udo here about my Whiskey Rebellion flag. How's Josh and the family this morning? Man, I got that coffee just about perfect this morning. I'm pretty good, Josh. I'm telling somebody a while ago, my hips and knees are hurting just a little bit after therapy yesterday, but that's kind of an ongoing thing. So other than that, I feel pretty good this morning. Therapy's gotten better. The water therapy has really turned things around for me. I'm able to I told somebody last night, I don't know if you were in chat then or not, but I actually went to therapy yesterday, which was land-based therapy, as I call it now, not pool therapy. I actually went in without my walker, which is the first time I've been able to. I had a cane and I leaned on a few things occasionally, and somebody stayed close in case I toppled, polite way to say, fall down and breast my butt. But I actually walked in with a cane, and that was a big deal for me because I hadn't been able to do that in months. I hadn't walked outside this house without a walker since last July. So it had been a while. But I think that's progress. Does that mean that you are also Jay? Or am I making an assumption based on facts not yet in evidence? Man, I wish you guys could have some of this coffee. It's really good this morning. Oh, absolutely, Josh. You don't know how bad I want that. I'd really like to get down there sometime when a bunch of folks like you guys are down there, so I can meet some of my friends face to face, or actually shake some hands. James Ryan has been holding me to that for a few months now. He's supposed to meet me in front of the partner statue there in front of the castle. Oh, Jay, you can't look at it that way. That'll get you in trouble, bud. So how many years is it for Joy if it's not for you? Well, I'll just ask Joy that. How many years has it been, Joy? Good morning, Brett. Triple P, Miss Triple P. Always a pleasure to have you in chat. You brighten up the whole room. 13 years. Well, that's good. 13 for Joy, 7 for you. How does that work? I'm not sure my wife would let me get away with that, but for me, it's either 43 or 44 this year. I know that's bad. I can't remember exactly which one. 43, I think. It's been a long time, let's put it that way. We spent way more time together now than we ever did before we got married. I mean, as in number of years. In fact, quite a bit more. Well, Josh, that's true. I didn't see your comment till just now. I was catching up there, but I assume you mean since we live in the same state as stateside. Oh, Josh, well, that's good. It has been long. We've actually, if it is 44 this year, that means we've actually been together for 50. So go figure. I mean, you'd think we either would have learned. Well, I guess we would have learned that we couldn't get along together, or we would have split up a long time ago. So, but I can't complain. It's been good. I have 2 grown children, and they turned out pretty decent. No, that's okay, Josh. I think I actually like that. I just had to take a minute to think about it. Well, good morning, Disfinity. Good to see you, sir. I think it's a sir, or actually, it may be a young sir. But Something along those lines. Brett might not. She may or may not agree with that, Jay. I'm not sure. On camera, she seems pretty happy. They certainly got two beautiful kids. I saw. Speaking of that, I saw pictures where you had posted Josh or I guess it was Josh. It could have been Brett on a Instagram. But Addie standing in front of something, leaning up with her ankles crossed. She's something else now. That girl's gonna be. She's already a ham. She's gonna grow up to be a heartbreaker, and a camera stealer, or a picture stealer, or something. I don't know. She comes by it natural, it seems. Oh, I don't know. He's if you're talking about Brett and Josh, I might be a worse hoarder. At least his stuff has some value to it. I'm not sure all mine does. Yeah, it was Mater. She was leaning up against Mater. That's what it was. I was trying to think if it was in Galaxy's Edge or where it was at, but I couldn't remember what she was leaning on. I started to say like a speeder or something, but it was Mater. One of my favorite characters in all Pixar. Daniel. The Xfinity, that you're Daniel, correct? I was trying to say here to remember now. Karki or Carol has said it, and I believe that's right. I hope that's right. Ah, Triple P. So you're the guy that's got it all. No wonder I can't buy any. No, no. It is. I don't want to necessarily start a debate or argument or anything like that, but ammunition and even firearms of all kinds are people have gone absolutely nuts. You can't find any of that stuff. I'd like to work on old guns, and I can't find parts. I mean, you can't find anything right now. You can't reload. I mean, you can't do anything hardly. Everything's gone or out. I'm not going to go for that, Jay. I couldn't get away with McDonald's either, and I might get away with Olive Garden or maybe a good barbecue place, but I'm not going to get away with McDonald's. My wife, she wouldn't put up with that either. Did somebody say Lynn was here? Did I miss Lynn? I do not see Lynn. Brett, is she in here? Are you hallucinating again? What's Josh been feeding you this morning? Peanut project. I'm still not sure I'm going to touch that sack of peanuts on her head. That's just, I about cracked up the other night when somebody mentioned that. There you are. Hey, Lynn. Good morning, ma'am. Good to see you this morning. Remind everybody that after we finish up here, jump on over to Coffee and Contemplation with Josh Triple P and Lynn Project. They're the ones that got me started, or at least gave me the encouragement to jump in there. So I'm forever grateful. Josh and I are what we probably call dog kin. I won't explain what that means, but let's just say he lives downstream from me. Now, Josh, are we going back to talk? Are you talking about Addie? That is a great picture. If that's what you're talking about, I love that picture. I need to dig up some of well, when my kids were that size, I was still using slides and film, or mostly slide film actually, 35 millimeter. So I don't have as many digital pictures when they were small. Isn't it, Leon? I mean, I just love Addie's attitude. I mean, that picture just oozes attitude. Oh, okay, Lynn, you're doomed. Then it's forever. That picture's going to be out there forever. Oh man, you know what? I meant to put on a different shirt this morning. I sure hope it doesn't look dirty to you guys. I'm sure it's got Teddy hair on. Hey, speaking of Teddy, anybody want to see Teddy? Let me see if I can get him up here. He's in the middle of a nap. Come here. Let go of the chair. Here, say hi to all your fans. Say hi, fans. Say, my name is Teddy. You should wave to Miss Carol. She's always asking about you. She thinks you're kind of special. Now, before you rip my arm off. He's not happy. I woke him up. Jay, you're up for a man whose anniversary today. I'm thinking you're not making any points, bud. Oh, did you get to see him, Carol? I hope you did. He decided he wanted to hop down. I interrupted a nap. It's okay when he wants to be up my lap, but if I want him, it's a whole nother thing. You know, he's a cat, so what can I say? Oh, that's what that is. That's the funny thing about cats and boxes. If you've got a cat, you know what I mean. We can't, everything that comes in this door, the cats want to get in it if it's a box. Oh, well, she's got several nights to work on that then. I might give you a McDonald's tonight, but come towards Wednesday, I wouldn't try that. I used to work with a man that had a theory on things like gifts for Christmas and anniversaries. He said you should always make sure you include at least one of what he called the three S's, and that S's is something shiny, something silky, or something smelly. Shiny, silky, smelly. Yeah, those are the three. You got to have at least one of those three S's in for every occasion, whether she says she wants anything or not. There's a whole long story to that too. I have to tell that someday. Oh, good, Carol. He didn't stay up very long. He wanted to hop down, so he's I I got a new chair here couple 3 weeks back, and I donated my old chair to Teddy. So he stays in that chair just right here beside me, just about more than half the day, I'm sure. I usually find him down here in the morning, and anytime after he eats, he's in that chair. He really likes his chair. My wife sat down in it last night for a little while, and he didn't like that. It's his chair. Well, now, Jay, that's a good operational strategy. I won't deny that. I learned that a long time ago. Well, Jay, this chat will still be here. If she gets back on, she can scroll back and see what you said. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that, just in case. Yeah, Pepper likes to stay involved too. Pepper's cool. Yeah, Carol, I think we probably need to clarify that now. Sir, there are some shiny things that don't count. A shiny pot and pan, a skillet is probably more likely to get more likely to get hit over the head with that than you are to probably have dinner served out of it. Be my guess. Hey, Dean. Good morning, Fall the Happy. I've noticed that, Triple P. No, Lynn, I did not hear that Death Wish Coffee is making a vodka. Oh, really? So they've got it out. I wonder who's actually making the vodka for them, or maybe they are. I'll have to look for that. I'm not necessarily a big vodka guy, but I'd have to check that out. Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Have fun at Costco. Buy us all something. Be safe out there. Bye, Joy. Thanks for stopping by and chatting. Keep Jay in line there. Don't let him get by with McDonald's. I'm just gonna come out there and say it. Oh, I'm sure I can find it. If it's got Death Wish in it, they're probably will. If they don't already, they probably will have it on their website, or at least they'll be talking about it. What would you make with that, Lynn? You're our expert bartender. What kind of things did you make with a coffee flavored vodka? I mean, that'd be different to me than Albany Distilling. Thanks, Josh. I will look that up. Um, what was I saying? Whoop, that ran out of my brain. Oh, what would you make? I mean, it's not like Kahlua. I mean, that's more of a liqueur, isn't it? I think. I used to love to have liqueur in my coffee sometimes. Well, that is interesting. I've seen more things like that recently in the last few years. Alcohol, uh, well, gin, for example. I just watched I can't remember who the guys are. Oh, no, there's a guy online called Ian McCullum, and he does history type shows about firearms and stuff. Josh, you may have seen him. It's called Forgotten Weapons, I believe is the name of his online show. But he was just in Europe. He might have been in Iceland. Anyway, he went to a distillery that makes gin. It was actually making whiskey over there, but whiskey has to be aged a certain amount of time for you to sell it. So they had also made gin because gin doesn't really get aged much. And I was amazed at all the different kinds of gin they made. I thought gin was just gin. It all tastes like juniper berries, but that's not true. They had like a pink gin and one that had something else in it. I don't remember. But then, I mean, and with, espresso martinis. Boring. On the rocks. Interesting. Anyway, uh, And then there's every flavor in the world of vodka these days, seems like. And now coffee, Death Wish coffee, no less. Good coffee. Black Rifle and Death Wish probably ought to get together since they kind of. I'll have to keep an eye out for it, Josh. I may have to find some of that. I've never, you know what, Carol? I have not tried any of that. I'd like to try some Guinness. I know they make Guinness aged in Jameson Irish whiskey barrels, um, and sell it with that name. But I've not tried any. I don't think I've tried any ale or beer of any kind that's done in whiskey barrels. I could be wrong about that. I have to think on that a little bit, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt. A lot of, and that's another thing. That's kind of what I thought was weird. You know, bourbon has to be aged in new charred oak barrels, or not oak. Well, yeah, I guess they are oak. Uh, I'll tell you another little story here in a second about that. But then those barrels get sold off to people that make other kinds of whiskey and things, and they get, like Scotch is used in other barrels. Scotch barrels get used over and over again, from what I understand. Irish whiskey too. Barrel aged old fashioned. What's explain, Lynn? I'm probably still not awake this morning, but I mean I get the barrel aged would be the whiskey, but is there something else they age in barrels that makes an old fashioned better? Well, Josh, did you know? And I'm going to confess, I'm not a Jack Daniels fan necessarily. But Jack Daniels, their stuff gets aged in oak barrels, but did you know they filter it through and only through sugar maple and sugar maple charcoal, I guess I should say. And that's one of their things. All Jack Daniels has to be filtered through sugar maple charcoal. Pour the whole thing in there, Lynn. That's interesting. I didn't know they did that. That's the first taste of licking the forest. Well, I've probably had my mouth full of woods more than once. I could probably appreciate that. And the thing about the sugar maples is one of my projects before I left TVA was I got involved with the University of Tennessee and doing some tree planting in the 30s. Tennessee Valley Authority was highly involved with reforestation in the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee was in bad shape as far as ground cover and erosion and things were concerned. And so they planted millions and billions of trees all over the state, but they had tree farms where they raised their own seedlings to plant everywhere, and had a lot of foresters that worked for them, that sort of thing. So a few years ago, the University of Tennessee's I can't remember his official title, but he's like the guy who's trying to take care of the forest for the future, and he genetically tries to raise superior. Actually, they call it the Superior Tree Program in the state. And he wanted to know if he could reopen some of our old tree farms. So I started working with him, and we actually planted a whole field of sugar maples that started out in the 30s, 40s, or 50s in Tennessee and on TVA property, and maybe with UT. And they started planting those in the, I don't know, 60s or 70s at Jack Daniels for them to use in their sugar maple charcoal. And they brought cuttings and plants back from Lynchburg and wherever else they grow those trees. And we started growing some more of those maples on our property. So they kind of came back home, so to speak. Oh, you started that program, Josh. Well, good for you. Oh, Josh, that sounds pretty good to me too. I just saw somebody with a bottle of Old Forester today. Oh, it was pass holder pair. Mike, he sent me a picture of a bottle of Old Forester he had just gotten. Said that was this weekend's treat or this weekend's bottle. I bet that is good. Anyway, I need to go back and see how much those trees are doing. I haven't been back up there since I retired, so I need to go see how they're growing. That's kind of my. I always kind of thought that was sort of my legacy when I left. It got that tree farm restarted, or helped get it restarted. I didn't do it all, but we planted a lot. We were already planting a lot of trees. Good morning, Noah. Thanks for joining us here. Let's keep an eye on the time here. We got 19 minutes. I promise, Josh and Lynn, I won't go over. So what else is going on, folks? Anybody else got any big adventures happening this weekend? I'm not sure what the weather is going to be like here. The sun may be supposed to come out tomorrow, but I think today is going to be mostly overcast, not too warm. Excuse me. Let me check here. I thought we might have a special guest coming about this time. Yeah, checking times here. Let me see if he sent me anything else. Not yet. I'll keep watching for him. We didn't plant any peanuts this year, Josh, or that year, Josh. Now, since then, considering how many, did I quote Annie? Did I? I don't know. I might have. I didn't do it on purpose. Hey, there he is. Hang on just one moment, folks. I've got a friend coming in, a special guest this morning. How can I talk to him backstage?
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm good, folks. Here's welcome in Chris Blue Nose. He wanted to show up and say hi this morning. How you doing,
everyone.
bud? How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling all right. How are you? How's your back doing?
My back's pretty good. My legs, my knees are hurting a little bit. That's another story. I actually twisted the crap out of my left knee when I fell a couple of times. My back went out, and
yeah.
So I'm probably going to have that check. I was already having some knee problems before that. I've had a little bit of work done on my knees already, but that and my hips are still bothering me a bit. But other than that, I feel pretty decent. At least today, I'm sure it'll catch up with me. But right now, my back's really not bothering me much. I was telling them yesterday. I don't know if you were in there last night, but I actually walked into therapy yesterday with just a cane. Now, granted, it was a slow march. It wasn't. I didn't run in, but I did make it in without a walker, and I hadn't done that in 8 months. I hadn't walked in public without my walker. So,
nice.
When I say that, I mean I've taken like 3 or 4 steps from here to the couch or something with a cane, but that's pretty much all I've done. I think I credit the pool for this. The pool has been really good for me. I'm really so glad they did that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I've heard that, and I've seen that pool therapy. It can work miracles sometimes.
It's amazing. I mean, I took my first actual steps without assistance, if you will, in the pool about 3 weeks ago. And they gave me a float, a pool noodle, kind of a float to hang on to walk. And honestly, I was wobbly and I looked drunk probably. I mean, I had a little bit of trouble getting my feet going again and making
Yeah,
everything coordinate. But yesterday when I was there, I no longer need the noodle, and I'm walking in the pool, doing laps in the pool, walking. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, it's made a huge difference in my general outlook on life. I think I see the light at the end of the tunnel finally. It may never be a real bright light, but it's a light.
that's awesome.
Thank you, Carol. It's great to me too. I'll tell you, I didn't always look forward to therapy. I mean, I'll be honest about it. Regular therapy kind of sucks sometimes. I mean, I always came home sore and really tired, and water therapy makes me really tired. But I look forward to going because it's such a. This may sound a bit what the right word is here, but um, it's freedom almost. It's liberating to be able to get in the water and walk when I hadn't walked in so long. He does have a great radio voice, Lynn. Can you see the chat, Chris?
I can. I just pulled it up.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
Well,
man.
I'm really glad to have you on here this morning. We have to do this more often when you feel up to it. And I've been reading a good aviation book the last little bit. I don't know, you may have even read for all I know, but it's a World War One era book. It's a memoir type. Not live, not live. It's real. It's not nonfiction, is what I'm trying to say here.
Right.
And it's about a guy an English pilot in World War One who's flying in France, and he's telling a lot of things I never really. I know, but I hadn't really thought about, and it's interesting to get his perspective on what aviation was like in the 1917-ish time period. Again, like I say, nothing I didn't really know, but not anything I'd really ever read, like first person accounts and that sort of thing much. So interesting book so far. And he's actually written a couple of different books. So I'm gonna have to check out his other stuff eventually.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember his name right this second, or I'd tell you. I know the name of his book. The book's called Open Cockpit.
Is that the picture, your latest picture on Instagram? I believe
No,
there's a pilot on the.
no, that's a car driver. That is actually
Oh, that's right.
that's a land speed
That's right.
record car. That was a cousin or uncle of mine that was on my dad's side of the family who actually was killed on Daytona Beach trying to set a land speed record in the 1920s.
Oh, wow.
He they That was the car. Interesting factoid, though. I found some pictures online that I hadn't seen before about the incident. That car was called the triplex, and they called it a triplex because it had three different engines in it. They were just trying whatever, back then you just threw horsepower to everything. They didn't know about aerodynamics so much or weight. They didn't really think about that. Well, they probably thought about weight, but it had three Liberty aircraft engines in it was what they were using to power that thing. And I think he was up in the 200s, maybe 207 when he crashed, I think. And he was trying to break the guy who drove Bluebird, who was an Englishman. I can't think of his name right now, but the Bluebird was the land speed record for many years. And they raced in Daytona back then. I don't know if they were still doing stuff on the salt flats or not, but Daytona that's actually how Daytona got its reputation for being the home of speed, was because they raced on the beach.
Right.
Or they ran these cars in a straight line on the beach. These things just go straight and pick up speed and run several miles. But that sand down there is so hard packed that they were able to do that. And I don't remember what the details were. The regular driver for that car bailed out or decided he didn't want to drive it or something. And Lee Bible my relative was actually the mechanic on the car, and he said he could drive it, so they let him try it, and unfortunately, before it was over with, it killed him. But hey, Tina, yes, this is where the party's at, Miss Sweet Cheeks. Nobody's commented on Snuggles the bear here. I picked that up. Tina's and Mike Wheeler's on her, I guess. Mike Wheeler kind of stuck me with that, and Tina has taken up she's decided to wave that flag regularly. So I figure if she's going to call me Snuggles, I'll call her Sweet Cheeks.
I just call you my aviation brother.
That'll work. That works for me. That oh crap! My mind is just washed this morning. I can't remember anything. This is where I know what I was going to say, Tina. This is where the cool kids are hanging out right now. And in a few minutes, we'll all be hanging out over at Josh's place at Triple P's. He and Lynn are having coffee and contemplation at 10. I am saying that. I hope that's right, Lynn. Nothing's changed, has it? Or Josh? But yeah, I thought about that when I was reading that book. I thought, I wonder if you'd read it or seen it. But those were warbirds before, the time when the ones you've worked on or worked around were around the course. You need a name for Chris. Well, you're on your own for that, because I'm not gonna offer up any suggestions. I'm sure you'll think of something, or Mike Wheeler will. Mike Wheeler is he's well, let's just say he's pretty quick to come up with stuff like that. He's amazing, but his mind works faster than mine sometimes. That's for sure. So I don't want to go into the whole thing, but do you have another appointment with the doctor soon, or do you know what's, without getting into a lot of detail? I know I don't want to, and we don't even have to talk about it for that matter. We can move on. But I know everybody here is thinking about you, so we want to.
I do have one appointment on Monday. As far as some of my other appointments, nothing's come up yet. Yeah, I'll have to wait and find out how my blood work went yesterday. So,
well, hopefully that'll turn out.
Yeah, otherwise I have to end up in Chicago. I don't want to end up in Chicago.
No, I think we'd all rather you didn't have to end up in Chicago.
Right. Right.
If at all possible. But if that's what happens, we'll be right there behind you. I hope you know that. Oh, Lynn, nobody here's going to believe you've been to hair and makeup, but you don't need that stuff, surely. Who's your producer this morning, Lynn? Anyway, no, we all hope things work out, Chris. I mean, I know I think about it a lot. I wish I could do more for her. I wish I could do more. I wish I could just come up here and visit so we could, keep you company sometimes. So you didn't have to, and maybe you don't dwell on it too much by yourself. I guess I probably would, but I'm glad hopefully things will start looking up.
Oh, it definitely weighs on my mind. I mean, it's a lot to deal with. This transplanted kidney and pancreas, they're like my kids,
right?
And I treat them as such. So, trying to protect them at all costs. This surgeon that I'm seeing at this other hospital, he knows the score. He knows that this kidney is very important. the problem is with a lot of the details, and I told you about them.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky situation. So just praying for the best. And I
Well,
really appreciate all the thoughts and prayers from everyone. I know I haven't been feeling the best for uh, going on 4 or 5 months now. Hopefully, I'll be back around more often than I have been.
well, when you feel up to it, you're always, there's a place here always for you, and you're welcome on here any morning if you feel like getting up and being online, and like this, or if you want to get on visually, then that's great. And but I'm honored that you came on and just spoke with us this morning. That's great, and really hope things work out Monday, and you don't have to go to Chicago, and we're all gonna, we're all gonna keep praying or sending thoughts your way, and hope for the best.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate
You're
that.
you're 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 an inspiration to most of us. I mean, you've been through a lot, and you're. I would have to say, for the most part, you've got a great attitude about most of it, and of course, you've dealt with it most of your life, and I realize that too. But uh, you're hanging in there, and that means a lot to those of us who look up to you for that.
It would probably take about another 2 hours for me to say.
Yeah. We don't have to do all that right now, but you know what I mean.
Right, right. Yeah,
Hey, Dave.
and I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being around. Hey, Dave. Good morning, sir. Good to see you this morning. Oh, let's see, what time is it? I don't want to run over. Oh,
We
it's
got
time to get
4 minutes.
Yeah,
Yep.
4 minutes. But I don't want to make anybody late, and I want to be off on time. And I promised I would be. Chris, I'm not trying to run you off by any means. You can hang around for a minute if you don't mind. And
Oh
after I
yeah,
shut
not a
down,
problem.
and but hope everybody goes over to Josh and Lynn's page or stream and watches Coffee and Contemplation. Josh, I didn't see your thumbnail a while ago. Is I assume it's out there. I just hadn't found it. I will find it. But and I really appreciate everybody coming in. I think we had, I don't know how many people were here this morning, but seems like I had more than usual. So that's always an uptake or a positive. Excuse me. My God,
Definitely
my
a plus.
manners are awful. Do what?
Definitely a plus.
Absolutely. I take every new guest I get. So if it's one a month or one a week or one every 3 months, I'll take it. And I really thank everybody for showing up, and thank you all and thank Chris for popping in. And like I said, hopefully we'll see all you guys over at Josh and Lynn's place. I saw a video last night about how hard it is for Southern people to say bye. There's a place out there called It's a Southern Thing. If you guys have ever wanted to laugh, go check out some of their videos because they're hilarious and really so true. My wife and I talked about last night all the times that she used to go to her in-law or her dad's family and how long it would take them 2 hours to say goodbye once they got started. And that's kind of how I am, I guess. So I want to make sure I say goodbye early enough to get off in time, because otherwise I'll just keep going. I saw something here. Let me catch up real quick. Oh, I have wings. I do have wings. Oh my God. I didn't really mean to do that. I hadn't really paid any attention. If I get it just right here, let me see if I can figure out how to move my head in the right direction. There we go. That's about right. That's about even.
Wings and a tail, it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's possible. Yeah. All right, everybody. We're going to, I'm going to say goodbye and not goodbye. See you next week. And I think au revoir, the French say. I think that means until next time or something. I don't know French, but I know it just doesn't mean goodbye. So we will.
Au revoir and c'est la guerre.
Yeah, okay. What Chris said. And hopefully we'll see y'all again next week, and we'll be here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, hopefully, and see everybody over at Lynn and Josh's place in a few minutes. Everybody have a great weekend, a good Saturday, what's left of it, and a happy Sunday, and I'll talk to you, see y'all soon, I'm sure. Thanks, and have a great day.